This is Josiah Plays Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Alright, let me talk to this Gerard Travenhurst here.
Away with you, beggar!
Hold your place. No need for us to get off on the wrong foot. I rather like company occasionally, but most of the townsfolk are a bit standoffish.
I've no doubt that you get a few visitors. It's unlikely they would voluntarily subject themselves to the apes at the door. Who am I calling apes at the door? My character's an ape.
Apes! Their demeanour may be gruff, but it is thoroughly appropriate for their task. Perhaps it is a tad unsociable, but necessary in these turbulent times.
Oh, that's our whole conversation, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess there's different concepts of what is even meant by evil. I don't really believe in evil as being a real thing in quote-unquote real life. In, like, D&D, though, evil is a cosmological reality. I mean, there are planes which are made up of the alignments, and I mean they are actual like cosmic forces that you are aligned with, quite literally aligned with. That's why it's called alignment. It's not just when you say somebody's evil in D&D, that doesn't mean that just they're not a nice person. If something is evil in D&D, that means it is like spiritually connected to or aligned with the planes of evil, which has like actual real power. Or same thing with good or whatever. I mean, that's what the whole Planescape setting is about. The planes are literally made of philosophy. Alright, let's,
Right, what's this then?
Whereas in the real world, we just call people evil that do things we don't like. Anybody that does things that we consider very bad, we call that evil. And each person's definition of that evil is different. The Abyss, the Nine Hells, and the neutral one is... Well, there's more than one actual evil plane. There's quite a few planes, but the main neutral one, I guess, is... Well, there's Carceri. There's Gehenna. Well, some people have choice, like human beings and stuff have choice, but there's some creatures that are just born evil, and that's it. They're just evil. It's their nature. Like demons and devils, for example. Demons and devils, by lore, can't choose to not be evil. Now, of course, there are, in the stories and the games and stuff, sometimes exceptions to that, but they are very special exceptions, indeed. What am I doing? Oh, I was really getting excited about looking at that dagger in my inventory for some reason. I don't even know what my deal is right now. Some arrows. A girdle. You can have that girdle. There you go. How much do books weigh? Couple pounds, apparently.
I've done had enough of this.
History of Shadowdale? Oh, Shadowdale's the cool place. Back when the Forgotten Realms first came out, it was like the presumptive cool area for things to be set in. That shifted to the Sword Coast later. Because of this game, mostly. Baldur's Gate is the game that probably made the Sword Coast the de facto focused area of the realms from then on. Before that, it was the Moonsea area and like the Dales, especially Shadowdale. Because Shadowdale is where Elminster lives. It's where he's got his tower. Sell them at the Feldepost Inn. Or store them in a safe area if you want to keep them, like Kegane's shop. Alright, let's see here. History of Shadowdale. The fall of Asmare, last Drow Marshal of the Twisted Tower. The Drow rule of Shadowdale lasted until the early 900s Dale Reckoning, when the increased human population in the area brought the Dark Elves into conflict with their now more numerous neighbors. The humans were the Dalesmen, who a millennium earlier had crossed the Dragon Reach and made peace with the elves of Myth Draenor, settling at the borders of the great woods that was the elven home. The Drow soon found themselves under continual attack, and most of those who held overground settlements retreated back below. The last powerful Drow leader was Asmare, the Marshal of the Twisted Tower in its last Drow-held days. Asmare oversaw the last retreat of the Drow holdings in the face of a human uprising, and held the citadel against a year-long siege. With supplies and slaves brought up from the Underdark directly into the tower, the Drow could have conceivably held out forever. However, a human slave, family histories in the Dales indicate a number of possible individuals, poisoned the well in the tower, and the citadel was easily overrun. See, it's really strange that there were Drow living on the surface. That's very rare. Asmare's body was not found among the dead, leading some to believe that he escaped back into the depths to rejoin his people. Noting the fact that he would have had to explain to his matriarch how he left Shadowdale, it is much more likely that, should Asmare have survived, he went into voluntary exile, hiding from both human and Drow. Given that this occurred only 400 years ago, it is certainly possible that Asmare still lives. Did they do anything? Well, they're one of the most evil races in the entire world, and they constantly attack. And I mean, they're the biggest threat. I mean, analogous the Drow to the people of Faerun that live on the surface. The Drow are like ISIS. I mean, they're like fucking Osama bin Laden. They are public enemy number one. And they have earned that through tons of evil shit that they've done. And they come up and they raid the surface and they just randomly slaughter surface elves or whoever they can. They've never been at peace with the people of the surface. There's never been like, okay, these Drow are cool, we've got a trade agreement with them or anything. No, they've always been an enemy. Just straight up enemy. No, they've always been evil. That's how they became the Drow in the first place. They were essentially banished to the Underdark because they... Well, I mean, they worship Lolth, who is like the demon queen, evil goddess of evilness and spiders and evilness. That's the thing in D&D, is if you worship like these evil entities or are bound to them, you kind of have no choice but to be evil. Because you're serving a being of pure evil that requires you to do pure evil shit.
I'm on it.
History of Shadowdale Part 2. Here we go. Have they always been a matriarchy? Yes. Because they're a goddess-worshipping culture, so females have always had primacy among the Drow elves. Alright. Ashaba becomes first lord of Shadowdale. Upon taking the Twisted Tower and removing the Drowish yoke from the people, the Dalesmen had fully established the Dale of Shadowdale, with its seat of power in the tower itself. Its first lord was a water wizard who had aided in the final attack. Ashaba, who was great in age when he ascended, and ruled peacefully for 40 years thereafter. It is said that Ashaba realized he was dying and turned himself to water, merging with the river. Since that time, the river, the ford, and the Twisted Tower all bear his name. Before passing on, Ashaba chose one of his trusted lieutenants as the new Lord of Shadowdale. Presented to the people of the Dale, he was made the new Lord by acclamation. In an additional honor, the pendant worn by Ashaba was thereafter recognized as a symbol of the lordship in the Dale lands, and was possessed by each of the successive lords following. Yeah, you have to worship the right evil. Yeah, Vicona worships Shar, who is also an evil goddess, but she's not the correct evil goddess for Drow to worship. I mean, Drow society is very much essentially a theocracy. The religion of Lolth, or the Temple of Lolth, the Priestess of Lolth, they're in charge. And they have absolute say over everything. So if you do anything to offend Lolth, you're done in Drow society. Oh, here we go with even more Shadowdale. Jodath and the Tirist Massacre. The past 100 years have been an example of the best and worst of the Lords of Shadowdale. All have been non-native to the Dale lands, though all made the land their home. A century ago, the Lord of the Dales was one Jodath, a stiff-necked agnostic who denied the power of any god, good or evil, and used force to back up his beliefs. During this time, there was a great deal of religious persecution, including a massacre of Tirists on Watcher's Knoll. Jodath was eventually killed by a beast of the Nether Plane summoned by parties unknown, which then proceeded to rampage through the Dale. The beast was killed, and Shadowdale rescued by the spellcasters Omri and Saloon. Omri was proclaimed Lord by acclamation. There's a lot of acclamation that goes on with these people. Man, how many books? There's going to be a lot of books here, aren't there? History of Shadowdale 4. Wow, they really want me to know about Shadowdale. Omri rules in peace. The longest period of peaceful rule was by Lord Omri and his wife Saloon, better known as the Witch of Shadowdale. They ruled over the community for 40 years, a period of extended peace with their neighboring Dales, nations, and the Elven peoples. It was this very peace and power which made the Dale the target for attacks and sabotage by the Black Network, the Zhentarim. They're one of the most evil organizations in the realms as well. I mean, but they're evil in the sense of human beings being evil. They're not fundamentally evil like Drow. They're just bad human beings that do bad shit. So compared to Drow, they're really, you know, minorly evil. But still, they're pretty evil. They sought and still seek to control the trade from the Moonsea to the Sword Coast, and desired to make Shadowdale a vassal state of Zhentil Keep. Lord Omri's rule ended tragically when he was assassinated by Zhentish agents. History of Shadowdale 5. The Zhentarim split up, right? Yeah, they probably... Yeah, I think they did. They were pretty much... By the time in the 4th edition timeline, the Zhentarim are almost gone. They've become a very minor faction. But back in these days, in like 2nd edition days, when this part of the realms, the Zhentarim were really big and powerful. Of course, there was no Cyric yet at this time. He was still a mortal. He became a god later. Well, I guess maybe when this game is set was after the gods were killed, right? Because that's already been said that Baal was murdered and spawned a score of mortal progeny. So this takes place, I guess, right after Cyric the mortal killed Baal the god and became, you know, took on some of his power and became a god himself. And Bane also got killed. But then they brought him back somehow. I don't know. It gets a little complicated with... It's the gods in the Forgotten Realms are kind of like comic book characters. They get killed, they get brought back somehow, they get killed again, you know. They take on a different name, they get a new identity. Somebody else becomes them and takes their name. History of Shadowdale. Jordan the False Lord. Lord Omri was assassinated by Zhentarim agents, who in turn were captured and killed by the warrior Jordan. Jordan, with the pendant of Ashaba in hand, the symbol of the lordship in the Dales, proceeded to present himself as the new lord and was acclaimed by the people. We got more acclamation going on here. All acclamation all the time. It was unknown to the people that Jordan was also an agent of the Zhentarim, and that the entire proceeding had actually been a ruse. See, it's weird even thinking of Cyric as a god, or Cyric, however you want to pronounce it. He was a mortal that was in this book series called the Avatar trilogy, and it was about these characters that were just normal adventurers that were trying to survive during the time of the Troubles when the gods came to Earth. And he was just this rogue. He was the rogue of the party, and he was just a normal, you know, person. And then all of a sudden, later on, he's a god. Same with Kelemvor. He was just a fighter, and now he's the god of the dead. But yeah, I read those books. I read a lot of the old Forgotten Realms novels. Almost all of them for a while. Of course, now there's been tons that have been written that I haven't read, but I didn't keep up with them, but Jordan abandoned the Twisted Tower, instead establishing himself in Castle Crag east of Shadowdale. His court was soon overrun with agents of the Black Network. When the people eventually revolted, Zental Keep sent peacekeeping forces to maintain Jordan's rule. Sylune, Lord Omri's widow, now aware of the deception but a firm pacifist, did her best to keep the Dale healthy and intact during Jordan's evil rule. Could I get some more History of Shadowdale up in here? That would be great. Apparently I can! History of Shadowdale 6! Evil gods have a high turnover rate? Yeah. Well, yeah, they do. Well, because Bane, Baal, and Merkel were the three main evil gods, and all three of them got killed during the Time of Troubles. Ah, Kelbin. Now, Kelbin's a big deal. He is a big deal Forgotten Realms character. He's almost as big of a deal as Elminster. Kelbin kills Jordan. Lord Jordan's rule of Shadowdale ended when he encountered Kelbin Arunson, also called the Blackstaff. The story at the time was that Jordan accepted an invitation from Kelbin to visit Waterdeep, and there he took ill and died. In reality, Jordan ambushed Kelbin as the mage was leaving Shadowdale, and the Blackstaff killed him. In either case, Kelbin took hold of the pendant of Ashaba, the symbol of the light. It wants to keep telling me, just in case you didn't notice it the first 4 times we told you that the pendant of Ashama was a symbol of the lordship. We're telling you again. And returned to Waterdeep with it, promising to send a suitable candidate for lordship to the Dales. Jordan had ruled for 5 years, and without his advocacy, Castle Crag was abandoned and the Zental Keep troops routed. Jordan's previously chosen successor was a Melvanton named Lirin, but without the pendant, this individual was considered a pretender to the throne. Here we go, History of Shadowdale 8. That's what I was hoping for. Oh, wait, 7? 7, not 8. Hey, Sungriff, how you doing? Good to see ya. What is going on, Sung? Not Sungriff. We've got some stuff about some lords accepted by acclamation here. Just in case there wasn't enough acclamation happening in the other books, this one's actually just straight up called Lords Accepted by Acclamation. Hey dog, I heard you like acclamation, so I put some acclamation in your acclamation. Just call me son. Right, son. This acclamation of the people has formed the basis for choosing the Lord of Shadowdale since the routing of the evil Lord Jordan by Kelbin Blackstaff. Usually a predecessor will step down as opposed to dying in office, and his chosen successor will be approved by the populace at large. This system has had its drawbacks, as will be shown below, but in general it has served the independent, self-willed people of the Dale very well. They have avoided the genetic lottery of which good bureaucracies and bad kingships are made, a quote from the Venerable Elminster, aka the Gandalf of the Forgotten Realms. The symbol of the lordship is the pendant of Ashaba, a device owned by the original wizard, and used to determine the rightful lord of the Dale. Let me guess. History of Shadowdale 8 coming up. I'm feeling it. Oh, what? Where is it? What? Where is it? Where's History of Shadowdale 8? What am I supposed to do without History of Shadowdale 8? Ooh, thank you for gems. I'll take gems. Oh, a wand! Now we're talking.
You rang.
Get in here, people. I need to transfer some crap. A lot of exclamation about proclamations regarding acclamations. Nice. A Nif is a sort of gnome from Scandinavian folklore that haunts smithies at night. If you take care of your tools, they do favors. If you don't, they cause mischief. Oh, those sound like a real thing. Folklore indeed. You mean Scandinavian science? Pretty obvious that NIFs exist. Alright, all these books need to go to somebody else. Czar, you shall be the keeper of the books. Wonder if there are any gifs of NIFs. Oh wow, that would be pretty awesome. A NIF gif. That would be pretty nifty. Like Gnifty, nifty. Your old business partner sort of actually believes in NIFs? Well, yeah, who wouldn't? I just heard about NIFs for the first time a minute ago, and I already believe in them. Gold necklace. Wand. Ooh, a wand of lightning. Oh, nice. Nice lightning bolt wand. How many charges does it have? Do we know this? It has 6, apparently. Okay. And the only person that can use it is a wizard, I guess. Nif.gif. Or gif. I don't say gif, I say gif. No, everybody calm your shit.
Go on,
I don't want the whole damn team attacking that thing.
Spit it out. Right, what's this then?
Oh, what did I get? Potion of invisibility. Seems like the kind of thing Emma1 would like to have. And another potion of healing. So you Danish, Norwegian... Oh, you're Danish. Cool. I met this awesome guy when I was in... where did I meet him? I met him in Paris. He was from Denmark. He was a photographer. He traveled around the world taking photographs, and he was from Denmark. And we sat there and talked in this little restaurant for like 6 hours or something. He was a really cool guy. He showed me all these pictures of Denmark, and it looked really beautiful. As far as he was concerned, Denmark is the greatest place in the world. I mean, he was very certain about that. And the way he made it sounded like a pretty great place. Mostly very flat.
You rang.
Well, I mean, aren't most places mostly very flat?
Right, what's this then?
Even places that have a lot of mountains are still probably mostly very flat. I guess maybe not mostly. Open, please. Open, please.
Go on,
could you,
then.
could
Right,
you
what's this
fucking
then?
people get out of my way?
Spit it out.
Trying
Right,
to steal
what's this
here.
then?
What? It was locked and there's nothing inside there? What kind of fucking troll chest is this?
You rang.
Wow, seriously? That's the highest... So that is really, really flat. That is really flat. That's like Kansas. Alright, I've taken everything that there is to take here. I can't believe we didn't get part 8 of the Shadowdale saga. I was really looking forward to part 8. We have mountains everywhere. Yeah. I live in Reno, Nevada, and we actually have mountains right here. They're not big mountains like where I'm from, Colorado. We had big mountains there. The mountains here are a little bit smaller. But they're still significant mountains. Okay, we're going back down. Thanks,
Sorted.
Gerard Travenhurst. I really appreciate all the stuff you gave me. You might want to have your guards, like, guarding where all your stuff is locked up upstairs, I'm just saying.
Sorted.
Lived in Ohio for about 10 years and the difference was shocking. Oh yeah. There's not a lot of mountains in Ohio. What's up, commoner?
Yeah?
About time someone dealt with the monster Basilisk. He's killed so many. It's disgraceful he's been allowed to continue so long. Hopefully the reward will speed his capture.
Oh, we just learned about something new
I
here.
don't like the way this group is turning out. Better leadership might help.
Calm your shit, Jahira.
Right, the townsfolk of Beragos talk of a monster named Basilisk who's murdered many innocent folk.
I've only murdered one innocent folk. So, guy sounds like he's worse than me. Can I go in this house? Is there like a... Oh ho ho! What's in this barrel? All the loots. All the loots. Is this an evil playthrough? Not really. It's a neutral playthrough. It's just early on in the game I accidentally did something kind of evil. I murdered a guard. So now I have to catch up and like do a bunch of good stuff to do something about my bad reputation. Uh-oh. What's happening in here?
Go on. Right, what's this then?
Hello, Marianne. I notice you don't have anything I can steal, so that's already rude of you.
Salutations.
My husband had to make a sudden business trip to Arm, and I'm so worried for him. Marianne, he always said. Marianne, who knows the road better than old Roe? But the highways just aren't as safe as they once were, and there hasn't been a messenger from Arm here in months. Could you keep your eyes open along the southern roads and let me know if you find anything?
Sure I can. Marianne's husband.
I was moved by the pleas of Marianne of Beragos today. Her husband, Roe, had to make a trip south to Arm, and she's understandably worried for his safety. I've sworn to keep my eyes open for any news of relevance that I might encounter in my journeys down that road.
In fact, Roe means turnip in Danish. Wow, that is good to know. That is information that I will use, I'm sure. I've only murdered one person. Only murdered one person.
Spit it out.
And I mean, you could even argue that it wasn't murder since he did attack me first. I was protecting my own life.
Sorted.
It wasn't like I just saw that guard standing around and said, "Ha ha!" and started swinging at him. I mean, he did attack me because I was stealing, but whatever. Not like stealing is evil. I mean, some people would disagree, but fuck those people. They've probably never been in a position where they had to steal, so what the fuck do they know? Oh, I got a silver necklace. Give me that silver necklace. Give me that silver necklace. Non-evilly taking your silver necklace. Ooh, history of the Chosen of Mystra. Elminster is one of the Chosen of Mystra. As is the symbol. Maybe all of the Seven Sisters. At least some of the Seven Sisters. Salmon turnips. I was vegan once for a little while. I'm a vegetarian now, but I'm not vegan anymore. Being vegan was difficult. History of the Chosen of Mystra. The reason why Mystra, the goddess of magic, invested a portion of her divine might in mortals is not known. One of the more popular theories, and one that is gaining more support in light of the goddess's other actions during that period, is that Mystra foresaw the time of troubles, and her own passing at the hands of Helm, and chose to give some of her power to mortals in order to ensure that her successor, the female mage Midnight, as it turned out, that's another character from those books. She was part of the party as well. Midnight. She was just another mortal mage in the same party with Kalimvor and Cyric. All of them became gods, except for... And then they had a priest named Adon in their group as well, and he didn't become a god. He was the loser. When you're in a group of 4 people and 3 out of the 4 become gods, and you don't become a god, you've got to feel pretty lame after that. Her successor, Midnight, would have a number of nearly immortal allies in the struggle against the schemes of the gods. The now dead Bane, Merkel, and Baal. Like I said, those are the 3 main evil gods, and they all got killed. Who precipitated the time of troubles by stealing the Tablets of Fate. The theory goes on to suggest that Mystra informed Azuth at approximately the year of the Rising Flame, 0 DR, more than 1,300 years before the time of troubles, that some of her power must be put into the hands of mortals, who would then become known as Mystra's Chosen. You've been vegan for more than 20 years? Wow. That's amazing. I was vegan for like 2 years. This power would sleep within the bodies of those mortals, allowing Mystra to call on it only with their permission. It would give the Chosen the innate ability to heal quickly, and would give them lifespans far greater than those of ordinary mortals. Mystra speculated that these mortals might be able to call on her power and thereby gain some special abilities, but that these powers would not rival those of a deity. See powers below. Get really sick when you stop being a vegan? Not really. Not that I remember. The goddess of all magic then began to select mortals she thought to be suitable. One of the first was the young mage Elminster, and she also singled out a promising wizard named Kelvin Aronson. Both have proved to be worthy and capable receptacles of her power, but Mystra's other early attempts to invest her power in living humans were unsuccessful, and she came to realize that only very few mortals were of stern enough substance to contain such power within themselves without being destroyed or corrupted. Even though some people aside from Elminster and Kelvin may have possessed the requisite strength, It is possible that having lived for years prior to being visited by Mystra had set them on a path from which they were not able to deviate. Whatever the reason, the problem needed to be solved. To get around this difficulty, Mystra devised a plan to use herself as a vessel to breed individuals who could be nurtured and acclimated to her power from the very beginnings of their lives. For the father of these individuals, she picked the best example of human stock she could find, Dornall Silverhand, a nobleman and a former harper who lived near Neverwinter. Mystra then possessed the body of Ilu Shundar, a half-elven sorceress whom Dornall was already attracted to. Mystra revealed her presence and her plan to Eliu, who happily and eagerly agreed to have the goddess share her body. Eliu had been reluctant, but under the influence of Mystra, the woman became a seductress, and Dornall found his advances being suddenly returned with great fervor. Swedish people eat some weird shit. If you're ever offered surströmming, run as fast as you can. That sounds pretty bad. I mean, I don't know what it is, but makes me nervous already. Dornall and Mystra/Eliu were wed in the year of drifting stars, 760 DR. The first of 7 daughters. Okay, see, it's talking about the 7 sisters here. Anastra Sylune was born the following winter. Sylune's 6 sisters emerged at 1-year intervals thereafter. Endu Illustrial, Ambara Dove, Athena Astorma, she prefers the shortened Storm these days, Anamanu Laeral, Alasra Shelentrantra, known today as the Symbol. She's actually the most... At least at this time in the Forgotten Realms, in 2nd edition times, she was the highest level wizard in the entire world, the Symbol. Or the highest level character, period, in the entire world. Even more powerful than Elminster. And Erase Quiliu. These siblings have become known in Realmsian lore as the 7 Sisters. Dornall, who had been kept in the dark about his wife's true nature through the years, presumably because Mystra didn't want to risk losing his services, was disappointed and nearly distraught by the time his 6th child was born. He had always wanted sons as well as daughters. More importantly, he was seeing his wife deteriorate right before his eyes. The strain of coexisting with the goddess all these years had turned Eliu into a withered shell, in essence a lich, clinging to life only because Mystra's power was within her. Oh, see, that's fucked up. That's not being a good steward of what you're using, Mystra. That's just not cool. It's a dick move. When Eliu was carrying the 7th child, Dornall consulted a priest who told him his wife had been possessed by an entity of great magical power. To spare both of them any further agony, he attempted to slay his wife's physical form by severing her head from her body. Well, I don't know if you needed to go all that far. I mean... Every marriage has problems. You can work that shit out. You don't have to cut your wife's head off. Literally. Wind-dried chicken. What? What are you people talking about? It smells like 100 people threw up in a closet and you open the door after a week where it had been 40 degrees every day. Ew. That doesn't sound good at all. Take a chicken, cut it open, tear out some organs, fill it with herbs, sew it back up and hang it upside down, all while it is still alive? Why while it's still alive? What the fuck? What kind of horrible shit to do is that? See, shit like that is why I'm a vegetarian. Because human beings do shit like that. They've ruined it for everyone. As soon as he had done this, Mystra was forced to reveal herself to him, and she went on to explain her scheme. Just as she had worried would happen, Dornall was aghast at how he and his wife had been used by the goddess. He turned his back on the corpse of his wife, abandoned his lands and his children, and vanished into the north. See, I wouldn't be that upset. I'd be like, that's pretty cool. Because then, you know, think about it. If you've had sex with a goddess, you've got some bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime anybody mentions Mistra in some context, you can be like, I hit that. They're like, what? No, you didn't. No, I did. Actually, I did. Mistra bore him no ill will, and in fact protected him from the final 30 years of his life. When Dornall finally did meet his end, he called out to Mistra, and the goddess granted him continued existence as her servant. Now known as the Watcher, Dornell Silverhand travels the world unseen by mortals on a continuing mission to locate candidates to swell the ranks of the Chosen and to identify possible threats to Mistra and her minions. Yeah, Mistra's kind of a big deal. I mean, in a world so steeped with magic as this, being the goddess of magic is kind of a big deal. Alright, the fucking Tsar Memorial Library seems to be all full here. He killed his wife and became Mistra's booty call? I don't know. Yeah, you know... It's one of those deals. Said it's one of those deals, like... Thank you for stuff.
Right, what's this then? Right, what's this then?
Mistra is a straight-up player. Yeah. Ooh, the Thunderhammer Smithy. This seems like a good place. Hello there, Smith. Hello there, other Smith. Those Smiths look like they haven't missed any meals. She won't even take the rings off.
I'm on it.
Speak up, speak up!
Hello, friend. What can I do for you this day? No need to trouble yourself. I'm just browsing about your smithy. I've heard much about it. Oh, it's no trouble at all. You can expect nothing but the best in service from the Thunderhammer Smithy. Best armors in the land. If you need some help, don't hesitate to speak to Taram himself.
Maybe they're just twins, both named Smith. I think you mean triplets. The Smith triplets.
Speak up, speak up!
Welcome back. Hopefully we can be of assistance.
Yeah. Now, stealing from this place seems like it would probably be a problem. Like a bad idea. Probably should not be doing this. Whoa.
I serve the flaming fist!
Yeah, okay, so that's a no.
Right, what's this then?
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl Smith. Oh man, Newhart! Newhart! Yes! Maybe they won't notice if I take this one. Maybe they won't.
Spit it out.
Maybe they won't notice.
Right, what's this then?
They didn't notice.
I
Oh,
serve
they
the
no,
flaming
no, they
fist.
did. They did. I want that magical bastard sword, though. That seems like a thing I'd like to own in my life. Could I, like... Okay, hold on.
Sorted.
I don't know what kind of shenanigans I can pull in
You're
this game.
This way.
I'm just gonna creep over here and be like...
If none are better.
What you want?
"Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm stealth. You can't see me. I'm hiding." Oh, it failed. Who the fuck even can see her? This guy's looking over here. Alright, she succeeded. Now can she do
I've
it?
had enough of this.
Why would you leave shadows? Also, why are you so bad at lockpicking? Actually think there's a Newhart Easter egg in this game? Seriously? I have a feeling this isn't gonna work out for me.
Yep. I'm gone.
Spit it out. Sorted.
Alright, now,
I
she's just
I've
over
done
here.
had enough of this.
She's just hiding.
You spoke at me? Go suck your blade.
Man, you guys
You're
are
a
some
queer fellow.
shitty fucking thieves.
What you want?
Learn to thieve.
This better be good.
Yep.
Worst fucking thieves of all time. You can meet some kobolds or hobgoblins who call themselves Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. Really? That's amazing.
I've done had enough of this.
Alright, nobody saw her.
I serve the flaming...
Okay, they saw her. Fine, forget it. Fucking forget it.
Right,
I'll just
what's
leave
this
the
then?
chest alone. How does that sound? How about if I just... Oh, wait. There's another smith. Oh, no, there's only 3.
Speak up. Speak up.
Alright, let's talk to this guy. Terram Fury. He seems like he's kind of an important smith. They said he's the Thunder Hammer. We're lining up into formation before speaking with this man.
Kiss me, blarmy. What you wish done?
Hello there. Is there anything I can do for you on this fine day? This fair day, even. It's fair and fine.
Could you show us what you have for sale?
Yeah, that was rather simple. Ooh, what do we have here? Barul's retort. What is this? It's an axe. It's a throwing axe. +1 throwing axe. Apparently it's 5 of them. Or 20 of them. I can't tell. Oh, he has 20 for sale. They come in stacks of 5. Wow, those are pretty cheap considering they're magical. Composite longbow. Ooh. +1 dagger. Only 561. Yeah, they don't like it when you open the container. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, +1 sling. +1 longsword. All kinds of fancy arrows. +1 shield. Whoa, shadow armor +3. Wait, what's the difference between plate? Plate mail is what I'm wearing, right? Armor class 3 is 0 versus slashing. Whereas full plate is much better. This is a +3 studded leather armor that melds into shadows created for use by the Shadow Masters of Om. The Shadow Masters are of the highest order within the Shadow Thieves hierarchy. There's a lot of shadow going on. Oh, that's... Wow. That's really cool. That's also really expensive. The Army Scythe, a light crossbow of speed, 1 extra attack per round. That's amazing. And the Dagger of Venom. Nice. Oh. Yeah, you pick open the containers and none of the guards care, but open them up, then motherfuckers get to stepping. Okay. Would you like to buy my dagger? I'm not buying any of this stuff right now. Don't sell what girdle?
I can make whatever you wish
The-
for a
the
wee
plain-
little
the
bit more than me.
Plain girdle that I sold that's worth 1? That's the one you don't want me to sell? This girdle right here is not an item I haven't identified yet. I've identified everything that was magical that I've picked up. This was one of the belts. And this is the other one. Well, I stole it. It was in one of the containers in that house.
Sorted.
Hammer smithy.
I'm starting to find this group almost palatable.
That's good to know, I guess, Sar.
I'm on it.
Uh-oh, I see you, commoner. What's up, other commoner?
Hello, mate. You look a friendly face.
I don't know why supplies of iron ore are dwindling. Can't a simple increase in trade solve the crisis? Baldur's Gate's a major route between Waterdeep and Arm. I suppose the bandits have the whole area almost completely cut off, and it would cost a lot to send troops out this way. Don't they realize how serious this is?
I guess they don't.
Something on your mind?
Ah, the world is falling apart around us, and here before me lie a band of groveling adventurers, preying on my every word to hear rumors of the latest dungeon fad. Dungeons? You're pathetic. Okay, I'll rattle it off for you. Like I did for the last adventure and the one before that. I have no doubt you'll share their fate. Let's see, there are the ruins of an old mage school to the southeast. Traps, dead things that try to kill you, you know the shtick. Then there's the Firewine Bridge, ghosts, winding narrow passageways, some poetry, blah blah blah. Honestly, I can't think of a life more tedious than that of an adventurer. Personally, I get far more out of wandering around aimlessly and scratching my arse like this. Wow, this guy's a real charmer. Thanks, buddy. That was actually some good information. Unfortunately, Duke Trump renegotiated the Sword Coast Free Trade Agreement. Oh god, Trump.
Something on your mind?
Blasted halflings talk in circles. I know not which is more treacherous. Firewine Ruins or Gullikin north of it. Keep an eye on your purse strings as you wander through that area. Alright, thanks, buddy. There's the jovial juggler right there. Alright, so we've been to a few of these places now. And I think...
I'll not have a part in this. Change your course, lest I be forced to stop you.
would you quit crying, Khalid? Seriously, here's a fucking tissue. Alright. I think that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition.